I want to show you how you and your suppliers can use the Coupa Invoice inbox to speed up invoice processing. We're going to take a look at how to set up the supplier. We're going to email an invoice to Coupa. We're going to enter the invoice details and then submit that for processing. So let's get started. The first thing I want to do is verify that the supplier is set up so that they can send you invoices and Coupa will recognize who they are, which supplier they are, and make it easy for you to enter details about that invoice. So let's look up the supplier. We're going to use this supplier right here. We'll click on that. Let's scroll down to the bottom and we're going to edit and we'll look at the details associated with the invoice inbox. Here I have a specific email address so that when an invoice comes from this email address, Coupa will know exactly which supplier to attach it to. So I'm going to have my supplier send me a copy of the invoice to this address here. Here's an invoice attached to that email. So I'm going to send that. Once Coupa receives the supplier's invoice, it'll send the supplier an email indicating that fact. Here, you can see this is an example of that email going back to the supplier saying, yeah, I received your invoice. So let's go back to Coupa. I'm going to go to Invoices and then select the Invoice Inbox. And I can see my recently received invoices right here. This is the one that was just sent from my supplier. Let's take a look at that. I'm going to create an invoice based on this document. It brings up this screen here, which allows me to easily create the invoice and add details to that invoice based on the document that was sent by my supplier. You can see that the supplier has been identified by Coupa, and now I'll go ahead and enter additional details about this invoice and process it for payment. I'll enter the invoice number, I'll select the date, I'll put the total of the invoice in. This serves as a control total to make sure that I get the details in properly. I can see the total down there. I'll enter that. This is the chart of accounts I'm using. I'll accept that. And now I'll add my line information. I've got two lines on this invoice. You can see that at the bottom here. It's going to be a quantity type. I'll enter a description of what that is. I'll put the quantity in, specify the unit of measure. I'll put the price in. And now I'm going to choose an account here. This is for my chart of accounts. I need at least these two items here. So I'm going to scroll down and find that item. Find the department it's associated with and select that. This is also selecting a budget period for me. I can keep track of budgets in Coupa if I want to. But I've got everything I need for this line. Let's do the second line. I'll use the same account and budget. If I scroll down the invoice, I can see that I have some shipping for $10 and I have a small bit of a tax here. So what I can do is I can go into the review section here. I can add the detail into my invoice. And now this invoice is ready to go. I'm going to submit it. It's going to go through the approval process and it'll be ready to send to my ERP system. See here, this is my invoice here. It's already been approved and it's ready to go. It'll now be exported into my ERP system and processed for payment. This has been a quick look at the Coupa Invoice inbox. It allows you to more easily communicate with your suppliers and process invoices from those suppliers.